Here's a full-length cinematic-style article for your YouTube video, around 1600 words, written without headings, exactly as you requested. The story of a car is often more than just steel, glass, and wheels. It's about memories, eras, and the passion that surrounds the automobile world. Few cars symbolize the golden age of hot hatches like the Volkswagen Golf GTI Mk2, and fewer still carry the rare and exhilarating identity of the G60 version. In 1991, when Volkswagen released the Golf GTI G60 Mk2, it instantly became a legend among enthusiasts. Packed with a supercharged 1.8-liter G60 engine delivering around 160 horsepower, this compact hatchback promised performance that punched above its weight. Today, over 3 decades later, restoring such an icon is no ordinary task. It demands precision, dedication, and above all, respect for the car's history. This is the story of the resurrection of a 1991 Volkswagen Golf GTI G60 Mk2, a rare hot hatch brought back to life by the Oldtimer restoration company Bart Holland B.V, the Netherlands. Using their step-by-step system, a process renowned for its detail-oriented craftsmanship, every inch of this machine was stripped down, inspected, rebuilt, and reimagined with the same spirit that made it a driving legend. It's not just a restoration, it's a tribute to a car that inspired generations of enthusiasts. When the Golf GTI G60 first arrived at the restoration workshop, it bore the scars of time. The body had suffered from rust, the paint had dulled, and the mechanical components had lost their vigor. For many, such a car would be destined for the scrapyard. But to the restorers at Bart Holland, this was a chance to bring history back to life, to give a rare and supercharged hatchback another chance at glory. The restoration began with a complete teardown. Every panel, every component, and every hidden nut and bolt was carefully removed. This wasn't simply about fixing what was broken, it was about returning the Golf GTI G60 to its former brilliance, and that could only be achieved through meticulous disassembly and analysis. Metalwork formed the foundation of the restoration. Time and exposure had caused corrosion in areas typical for Mk2 Golfs, wheel arches, sills, and floor pans. Instead of patchwork repairs, the team approached the metal restoration with surgical precision. Panels were replaced where necessary, while original metal was treated, reshaped, and preserved wherever possible. Body alignment was equally critical. The Mk2 Golf was known for its solid, boxy stance, and achieving that factory-correct look required hours of measurement, adjustment, and expert craftsmanship. Once the shell was perfected, attention turned to the paint. The GTI G60 deserved more than a quick spray, it needed a finish that would honor its heritage. The body was prepared with layers of primer, sanded to absolute smoothness, and then coated with a carefully chosen paint color matching the car's original palette. The result was not just a coat of paint, but a mirror-like surface that brought out every sharp edge and every curve of the Mk2's iconic lines. Under workshop lights, the restored body reflected not just craftsmanship, but passion. Parallel to the bodywork, the mechanical heart of the Golf GTI G60 was given equal attention. The star of the show, the supercharged 1.8-liter G60 engine, was carefully dismantled and rebuilt. Known for its unique G-Lader supercharger, this engine delivered a distinctive character that set it apart from other hot hatches of the era. However, the G-Lader was also infamous for its complexity and maintenance demands. In the hands of inexperienced mechanics, it often spelled disaster. But at Bart Holland's workshop, it was treated with reverence. The supercharger was meticulously rebuilt, seals and bearings replaced, and tolerances checked to perfection. The engine block was cleaned, machined where needed, and assembled with new internals, ensuring it would once again roar with the unmistakable whine of forced induction. Performance wasn't just about the engine. The suspension was completely restored, with bushings, shocks, and springs replaced or refurbished to provide that sharp GTI handling. Brakes were overhauled with new discs, pads, and calipers, ensuring stopping power matched the G60's eager acceleration. The transmission was disassembled and rebuilt, guaranteeing smooth gear shifts that connected driver to machine in true hot hatch fashion. Every nut, every bolt, every bearing was accounted for, ensuring the car wasn't just beautiful but also mechanically flawless. As the mechanicals came together, the restoration moved into the parts refurbishment stage. Original parts were prioritized, re-chromed, powder-coated, or polished to factory standards. Where replacements were necessary, only OEM or high-quality reproduction parts were used. The Golf GTI G60's unique features, such as its trim pieces, badges, and iconic details, were sourced with painstaking attention to authenticity. The wheels were refurbished to their period-correct glory, shod with performance tires ready to meet the road once more. The interior was no less important. The Mk2 GTI had a driver-focused cabin that combined simplicity with sporty touches. Over the years, wear and tear had dulled the seats, cracked the plastics, and worn down the fabrics. The restoration team carefully reupholstered the seats, bringing back the original textures and stitching patterns. Dashboards were restored, switches cleaned and reconditioned, and gauges recalibrated to factory specifications. Every detail, down to the stitching on the steering wheel and the feel of the gearshift, was considered. Stepping into the restored cabin felt like stepping back into 1991, when the GTI G60 was new and waiting for its first enthusiastic driver. As the restoration neared completion, the final build began. This was the stage where everything came together: the body reunited with the engine, the suspension fitted, the interior assembled, and the car given its soul once more. The process was meticulous, requiring not just technical expertise but also patience and love for the craft. With each part reattached, the Golf GTI G60 was reborn. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. The engine was fired up for the first time since its rebirth. The distinctive whine of the G-Later supercharger filled the workshop, followed by the deep growl of the 1.8-liter engine. It wasn't just a sound, it was a heartbeat, proof that the restoration had succeeded. On the road, the car performed as if it had rolled out of the factory yesterday. Acceleration was lively, the steering sharp, and the handling tight, reminding everyone why the GTI G60 was such a beloved icon. But more than performance, this restoration carried meaning. For enthusiasts, the Golf GTI Mk2 represents the era when hot hatches were raw, engaging, and built for drivers. The G60 variant, with its supercharged character, was always the rarer gem, a car that demanded respect and delivered thrills. By bringing this 1991 example back to life, the Oldtimer restoration company Bart Holland ensured that future generations could experience a piece of automotive history. For those watching the process, it wasn't just about nuts and bolts. It was about the artistry of restoration, the dedication required to give a car a second life. It was about preserving the stories and emotions tied to these machines. The Volkswagen Golf GTI G60 Mk2 is more than just a hot hatch, it's a cultural icon, a car that made everyday driving exciting, and a reminder of when performance came in small, unassuming packages that could humble much larger machines. As the restored GTI G60 rolled out of the workshop, gleaming under the Dutch sun, it symbolized everything that makes car culture timeless. Passion, craftsmanship, and history converged in one compact, supercharged package. The roar of the engine and the shine of the paint weren't just about a car, they were about an era reborn. This restoration isn't just for Volkswagen enthusiasts. It's for anyone who believes in the magic of bringing the past back to life, who feels the thrill when an engine turns over after years of silence, and who understands that a car can be more than transport, it can be a piece of art, a piece of history, and a piece of the heart. The 1991 Volkswagen Golf GTI G60 Mk2 has resurfaced, not as a relic of the past, but as a roaring, shining, and driving testament to what passion and precision can achieve. And thanks to Bart Holland and his team, this rare hot hatch will continue to inspire, excite, and thrill wherever its wheels take it next. Would you like me to make this more cinematic and emotional for narration, like a documentary voiceover, or keep it detailed and technical for enthusiasts who want the step-by-step restoration breakdown?